It's that time of the week, which means Steve Young has joined KNBR to discuss Brock Purdy and his honest assessment of what he saw versus the Giants. Take a listen to what Steve Young had to say about the young signal caller right here.
Purdy still continues to I don't amaze might be too strong, but you look at him and you're just starting to get used to it, and then it shows up in numbers, right? The touchdowns versus the picks are minimal. The rating is incredible. Like, I'm starting to think, like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't think of this as a guy who got drafted as the last pick in the draft. Maybe we should think we should look at this guy as someone who wasn't evaluated very well coming out of college, and he should have been drafted high. Maybe not. I mean, not first, second, third round, but should have been drafted higher than he was.
They drafted him on his measurables. And there's nothing much more frustrating as a player, especially a quarterback, when we've talked about the force. We've talked about this unknowable thing. It's this guile, this sense of spatial awareness, the ability to have 21 other people running around in a tight space, and it doesn't bother you. Like, and 80,000 people screaming, doesn't bother me. Bigger games, doesn't bother me. Like, when the adrenaline goes up, most human beings start to sweat and lose themselves. Their mind gets smaller. And some people calm down. Some people's minds expand as things get crazier. And the thing that they didn't know when they drafted him was that he had this special ability that is indescribable, that he had proved at college, but because it was at Iowa State, it ran under the radar because he was shorter, because he didn't have the strongest arm, and because in the NFL today, that's the only thing they can measure. They have such difficulty measuring the stuff that really matters to understand how to get the ball in the right spot and understand the spatial awareness and all the stress. And there's very few humans that respond to adrenaline and their body starts to calm. And the greatest players in the world all have this genetic ability. As things get crazier, their body calms down. And it's the opposite of most human beings, and most human beings kind of wonder, and that's why most human beings can't judge that quality, because it's counterintuitive. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. What do you mean his heart rate goes down when they're screaming in a 2-minute drill? Yeah, that's just how they respond. And that's why if you said, based on the ability to quarterback, he's a first-round draft choice on the ability to quarterback. The thing that he didn't have was the strongest arm, the biggest body, the strength, the speed, all the stuff that everybody's looking for all these big, killers out in the world. And that'll always, we said this last week, it will be a limitation for Brock. It's a limitation that's not going to change. He's not going to grow 4 more inches. He's not going to get faster. He's got plenty of quickness. His arm's not going to be able to, he's not going to be able to throw it 80 yards. It's not going to happen. What did he tell you maybe preseason? He says, I'll figure it out. What he's saying is, I have such that you need to do. I'll figure out how to make up for those deficiencies. Don't worry about it. And I immediately said, go on with your bad self, bro, because because I truly believe that that's true. I believe that he will figure it out. And you said it, Tom. Not many turnovers, but not 70 touchdowns either. It's like great quarterbacking with some physical limitations every week. Great quarterbacking, and you saw when they blitzed him a ton against the Giants. Yep. Yeah, they got him a couple times. In fact, he almost threw 2 picks early, right? Just like, all right, yeah. And then what happens? He doesn't come back and throw 2 more. If he throws, he's like, okay, I'll back up a little bit and rip one to George Kittle, and then I'll hit you on the sidelines. Like, he's that kind of a guy. Like, yeah, you might punch me in the nose. You might even get a little blood. But you're not going to pound me into submission because I'm coming back because I have this, I don't know what, you guys help me out with the words. I mean, it's all that stuff.
He's got moxie, kid. He's got moxie.
Moxie, all that stuff that you want to, all those words that have no true meaning, but you understand what you're trying to say. And Tom, you knew this in basketball. Certain guys got it. They just understand the game, the spatial awareness. They never got overwhelmed. They weren't the biggest moments. They weren't freaking out. And look, when I told you the team chose Brock because when he played, he makes them feel calmer. He makes them feel more confident. And that's like, we want every quarterback prays that they can make their teammates feel that way.
Yeah. Here's one for you. I've heard this forever, that when it gets really stressful, the best players are able to lower their heart rate. And here's what I've always thought. Let me ask you this. Is it they lower their heart rate or their heart rate stays the same and everyone else goes up?
Stays the same. That's fair. It's not, doesn't go down. I mean, you're not meditating, but you're not, but it doesn't go up. It doesn't go up. But when I was with Joe was amazing. And I used to sit there, like, literally, I was just, biggest moments or the craziest games or I don't know if you remember, we went to the Eagles with Reggie White and Jerome Brown, and it was a big game. It was a big deal, and they had a ferocious defense. And instead of all the craziness about the game caused you to do some things, he did his job. He read the defense, he read the blitz, he threw the post, and then Jerry runs for an 80-yard touchdown. And then he'd come back and, he'd look at the sheet, and, I'm kind of watching him and learning, and he didn't break. He's like, well, we'll just go out there, and if they blitz, I know what to do. And it's almost like you just do your job without all the adrenaline. You don't lose, your mind doesn't shrink.
Yep.
Because when your adrenaline goes up, your mind shrinks, and your eyes glaze, and all that stuff that happens. How many times come to the sideline and honestly, even a lot of pro quarterbacks, a coach would say, "What did you see?" And they're like, if he was honest, like lie detector, I don't know. I can't see anything. It's all just a big blur. Where that's what I tried to do and learn from Joe, is that ability to just stay steady, do your job, make the reads, don't get overwhelmed in anything that happens, and then because defenses get overwrought. Defenses, especially in the third and fourth quarter, the plan that they had, everything kind of goes to hell, and then they're they're scrambling around. They don't fake you out anymore, and you can just take advantage by doing your job.
What were your thoughts on what Steve Young had to say about 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy? Let me know what you guys think about what Steve had to say in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.